Hello, hello again, everybody. I hope you're having a good time. Welcome back to the stream. We're live and we're doing what we've been doing for the past 4 or 5 ones, which is finishing up the moments. So let's get into review to catch up everybody who wasn't here last time, so that we can keep going. First things first, we did the mall, which is down in the corner over here. What that was spending the day with Derek, Cove, and our cousin Lee, while going to the mall and experiencing all the joys that has to offer, running around, getting smoothies, shopping at stores, etc. All with pretty good freedom due to the fact that our supervisor was more skulking after us than doing her own thing. We then did the boardwalk, which was a long trip to the amusement park with the Suarez family, wherein we talked with Derek about his feelings of always being responsible for everyone and how we thought he needed to be more considerate towards himself. We also had to deal with a child falling asleep and the escapades of that. So, you're very welcome. I have been told that it would be helpful, so I am doing it. So we're going to move on. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 left before the soiree. And going from the pattern that I have been doing, it's going to be one of these two, growing or road trip, and then summer worker escapade, followed by responsible, and the other one of growing or road trip, and finishing up with the soiree. I don't know if picking one soiree will eliminate the other soiree, so that will be a thing that we think about as well when the time comes. And yeah, so just to sort of consolidate everything, I'm gonna go ahead and do growing, because it's the only lone one over here off in the world, and keeping everything in the corner sounds like fun to me. So growing it is. Early one afternoon, you found yourself in the living room with your family. It was another one of those summer days where it felt too hot to go outside, but it was too uncomfortable to do anything inside either. The air conditioner was cranked up as far as you could negotiate it, but everyone was still being pretty lazy. You, your moms, and your sister were lounging around while the TV blared on in the background, ignored by all of you. You specifically were lying spread eagle on the carpet, sitting cross-legged on the floor, perched on the arm of the couch draped over the coffee table. Just flat on the floor, lying spread eagle on the carpet. You stared up at the ceiling, your eyes unfocused and mind clear of all thoughts. Elizabeth broke the silence with a loud groan. You glanced over. She was lying on her back over the couch, massaging her calf with one hand. I feel terrible. I'm dying in this house and my legs hurt. Mom looked up from the magazine she'd barely been flipping through and frowned, concerned. Could you have strained them somehow? Elizabeth flailed briefly, then flopped onto her side with a heavy sigh. I don't know, it just hurts.
Sweetie.
Oh, sweetheart. Ma got up from her seat at the kitchen table and walked over to your sister. She did a light pat on Elizabeth's shoulder sympathetically. I'm sorry you have to deal with all that. Maybe it's growing pains. You could be taller by next fall. Elizabeth scoffed. She didn't look impressed by Ma's assessment. I'd rather be my height forever than deal with this. Mom walked over too, leaning against the back of the couch. Kids, they grow up so fast. Soon Elizabeth will have a home of her own, maybe even a nice husband and some kids if she feels like it. She sniffed loudly and wiped at her eye, but you could tell it was just a bit. You tilted your head. Even though you knew Elizabeth liked guys, it was hard to imagine her with a boyfriend or husband. She seemed invested in hanging out with her group of friends, not chasing after boys. Mom must agree with you because she shook her head.
No.
Let's not exaggerate. She's still practically a child. But if you ever do pursue romance, Elizabeth, you can come talk to me about it. Definitely. We're always willing to lend an ear. Elizabeth's features contorted in disgust.
No.
No way! I am not talking to my moms about that. Mom's jaw dropped and she gasped in an exaggerated display of shock. Her hand came up to rest against her chest. Ma only grinned. She didn't look offended by Elizabeth's quick response at all. It really wouldn't be so bad to come to us. I know what it's like to have a crush on a pretty boy or two. I don't, but I can listen anyway. Mom snorted at her own joke, while Ma burst into giggles. They were having a little too much fun at Elizabeth's expense. Elizabeth certainly wasn't feeling the amusement because she rolled her eyes and sat up.
Thanks.
I'm going back to my room. I'd rather melt alone, thanks. She strode off towards the staircase, taking the steps 2 at a time. Your moms stared after her and then turned to each other with raised eyebrows. Whoops, looked like we scared her off with all that romance talk.
Well,
Ah well, we'll get her next time. He watched them titter with some surprise. Obviously your moms liked women, but you had no idea that Ma liked guys too. Today was the first time you'd heard her say something like that. Wait, you've had crushes on guys? Since when? Ma turned to you, happy to bring you into things now that you'd spoken up. She smiled and nodded. Always, I like both. But I like your mom most out of everyone. She's special. Ma's smile turned all soft in the corners like it usually did when she looked at her. She pinched Mom's cheek lightly. Mom reached up a hand to cup over Ma's. Even when Ma stopped pulling her cheek, their hands remained clasped together.
you're fantastic.
Thanks, Lonnie. I think most women have charm, but no one can hold a candle to you.
Aww.
Aw, Pamela. Ma beamed and then kissed Mom on the cheek she'd been pinching before. I'm going to laugh at them, because they're being silly. They're being silly goofballs. You chuckled quietly at their little back and forth. They were always saying cutesy stuff like that to each other. Ma looked back to you, letting Ma's hand go with a brief squeeze. She settled down next to you and Mom followed soon after. You know, I'm also here to listen to you whenever you're ready. That offer isn't just for Elizabeth. She bumped her shoulder with yours, a reassuring smile in place. There's no rush, of course. You can take all the time you need to figure out what or who you want.
It's okay.
Don't think you have to stick with whatever you come up with right now, either. Life's nice like that. It can change, and you can learn. Mom nodded her agreement. The two of us are happy to hear you out, and we may be able to relate better than you think. Still, we won't push the topic, at least most of the time. She gave Ma the weakest, scathing look possible while being unable to stop grinning. Thanks, nodded silently, shrugged. You don't have to worry about it. I'd rather pass on all that. Honestly, Lane shrugged. You had no idea when you'd take them up on that, or if you ever would. Ma let out another exaggerated sniffle. It didn't take a genius to realize it was fake. First Elizabeth and now you, Lane? Do you have to grow up? Yes. Children tend to do that from time to time. Your parents quickly grew absorbed in their conversation about rearing kids. You took that as your cue to leave, getting up so you could spend some time alone in your room, too. They let you go without problem, so you made your way up the stairs. You let out a sigh once you stepped into your room. It was just as sweltering in there as it was in the living room, possibly even a little warmer. Well, yes, you are upstairs and heat rises. So... You couldn't even open your window since it was hotter outside and you just let the AC out. You dragged your feet as you crossed the room. You checked your current sweltering condition in the mirror as you passed by it. You thought back to the conversation you'd had downstairs about growing up and all that. After a moment, you stepped a bit closer to the mirror. You stared into it, and then away from the surface to look down at yourself. You were definitely growing, all right. It was weird thinking about how you were now in comparison to what you'd been when you were younger. When it came to your body, muscle definition, chubby, slender, heavyset, scrawny. Let's see. Out of the events that we have seen, what would I pick for Lane? How do I picture Lane as a teenager? I'll be honest, I think they're kind of a scrawny noodle child. All elbows and knees. You shifted to the side, your head still facing forward and continuing the self-evaluation from this viewpoint. Lots of good options. Truth, truth, truth. So, female at birth, male at birth, intersex. Fascinating stuff there. Since I went with non-binary, these are the options. Perhaps you would have had these options as well, leading to trans run-throughs, but I don't know. I just sort of kind of didn't picture them as anything. I know that's a weird thing to say, but so let's go with intersex, because I didn't picture them as anything in specific, so I see. Lots of options for chest. Just gonna do flat, because, like I said, I don't really think that I picture Lane as anything in specific. And that's just the way it was for you. You ran a fingertip over your birthmark. That was something that had been consistent for you. You took a step backwards, finished with your impromptu inspection. You locked eyes with your reflection, cocking your head to the side. All things considered, I don't think Lane hates how they look. So, I don't think they're like hyper-focused on their looks either, so it's not one of those sharp ones. So, it's probably one of these three in the middle. You didn't look too bad. You had no idea how to feel, or you were simply neutral. So I think I'm gonna go with neutral. You tilted your head to the opposite side, but you still couldn't find anything to have much of an opinion on. You shook your head roughly, putting the thoughts of what you were turning into out of your mind. This wasn't the time to focus on such things. You had to find something to do in this heat. You shuffled over to your bed, collapsing onto the mattress. Bad choice. Just lay on the floor. Lay on your hardwood floor. Your brows scrunched up in thought. Time passed slowly, and to your annoyance, possible ideas about what to do were few and far between. You weren't sure how long it had been, but eventually you heard your mom call you from downstairs. Lane! There's a call for you. Cove wants to come over. Is that alright? You perked up at the words, sitting up in bed. You yelled back to her immediately. Yeah! You got to your feet and headed downstairs, eager to see your friend. You needed to go downstairs soon anyway because your empty stomach told you it was almost time for lunch. Just as you reached the bottom of the stairs, you saw Mom put the phone back on the receiver. She glanced at Ma, leaning her hip up against the kitchen counter.
What a pickle.
Well, here comes trouble. We better prepare ourselves. Ma clicked her tongue in clear disapproval of Mom's words. He's such a good boy. Cove never wants to cause trouble. He can just be a bit thoughtless and impulsive. Oh, I know. He's very sweet. But that's what makes it more of a problem. If a stranger or some kid from school was egging Lane on to behave badly, I think we can both agree they'd do the right thing in the end. But if Cole Holden got into a reckless mood and wanted Lane to be a part of the ride, can we be certain of what call they'd make then?
Yes.
Yes, I think so. Lane helps Cove settle down. He would have gotten himself in even more trouble without them.
Thanks.
You have a point. Ma just laughed. As she turned away, still snorting, her eyes met yours. She blinked in surprise, then waved at you with an easy grin. Mom looked over, noting you at the foot of the stairs as well. Oh, I didn't expect you to come down already, Lane. I just wanted to let you know what was happening. I'm not gonna... Mom, why are you being mean about my friend? Because you can call them out, or you can not call them out. And that's the options, and I'm going to call Mom out. Well, if I hadn't come now, I wouldn't have heard everything you just said.
Pam.
Oh, you got caught, Pam.
What?
What? You were saying things too. I didn't say anything I wouldn't have told to Lane directly. Oh, you're unbelievable. You shook your head at your parents, even as you fought a blush when you remembered what they'd been discussing. All right, you got me. I'm sorry for being so gossipy and saying that about your friend. I can be bad too.
Let's go.
We'll get out of your way now. Mom sighed in mock defeat and made her way down the hall. Ma followed after her with a hushed giggle. Now you were alone in the living room, tasked with waiting for Cove. And that was just fine with you. If it hadn't been so hot outside, you would have visited him at his house a long time ago. You took a seat at the kitchen counter and settled in for the wait. As expected, there was a knock on the door a few minutes later. When you got up and answered it, your neighbor was standing on the other side. He came in once you stepped aside to let him pass, giving a little wave. You greeted him as you typically did. Hug. He my friend, and while he gets a lot of affection from his family, I don't know if they're a hugging family. Part of me feels like they are, but also doesn't matter. He groaned and wiggled in your arms like a fish out of water. Stop! It's too hot for this. You didn't take pity on him. You knew he was kidding. If he really wanted to get out of the hug, he would have done it already. Eventually, you let him go, smirking to yourself. Alright, I'm done. Cove sighed and wiped his face a bit. You noticed the sheen of sweat across his brow. He must be glad to be back in an air-conditioned place, even if he only had to walk across the street to get there. So what's with the sudden visit? I don't want to do anything, not when it's like this. He gestured vaguely to the humid air hanging around. I thought I could at least do nothing with you. You thought that was really sweet? How'd you know I was doing nothing? Maybe I had plans. You nodded. That made sense to you. I was thinking the exact same thing, which is the option that I'm picking. You grinned and he smiled back. And that was all there was to it. Both of you were on the same page. Have you had lunch yet? I was gonna do it soon. He shook his head.
Not really.
Haven't really felt like eating because of the heat. I probably should have lunch. I didn't have breakfast this morning. Yeah, I get like that sometimes too. You should really eat properly. You didn't eat at all, then you gotta have something now. Great, we can eat lunch together. You didn't eat at all, then you gotta have something now. Come on. You urged Cove in the direction of the kitchen. He stumbled after you. Ah, okay. As one, you headed to the kitchen. You crossed your arms as you glanced around, wondering what you should scrounge up for a meal. I don't want to eat anything that's warmed up. Is there something cold or not cooked? Yeah. After a bit of back and forth, the two of you concluded that you should raid the fridge and cabinet in order to make sandwiches. With that settled, you had planned to decide on the outside layers first. There was a wide variety to choose from since everyone in your house had their own favorites. There's white bread, wheat bread, sourdough, mixed grains, gluten-free bread, and pita pockets.
Hey.
Could you take the grain one for me? Sure. You reached for the mixed grains that made your decision. We'll do sourdough. You pulled out the sourdough too, setting both items on the counter. Then you had to decide what the main direction the sandwich would go in. Savory sandwich or sweet sandwich. Savory sandwich. Something savory would make it feel like a real meal. As for the specific ingredients, la 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 la. Pickles, pepper jack, lettuce, hummus, turkey. Lane can eat tomatoes. Yes, I think that's good for me. Then you moved on to condiments. For the finishing touch, you intended to top your sandwich with salt and pepper and mustard. And that was everything. You nodded to yourself with a quiet hum, satisfied. The two of you bustled around the kitchen, opening and closing things in order to collect everything you needed for your individual sandwiches. You focused intently on assembling your own for the most part. When you were close to being done, though, you glanced over at your neighbor. Cove was putting his sandwich together delicately, his brow furrowed and tongue sticking out just barely. There are open jars of peanut butter and honey near his plate, as well as a banana peel. So he was making a peanut butter, banana, and honey sandwich on mixed grain bread. That sounds good. Maybe you'd have one yourself at a different time. Curiosity satiated, you turned your back to your plate and finished your own creation. By the time you were done, Cove had already cleaned up his workstation. He turned to face you, studying your sandwich briefly. He gave it an incredulous look, but didn't question you about it. Good. Done? Yes. Cool. He waited as you quickly returned the ingredients and cleaned a few utensils. Then the two of you collected your respective plates. You both agreed on heading upstairs to hang out in your room. You and Cove entered your bedroom while balancing your food on the plates. Nothing fell, so it was a successful trip. Cove took a seat on the ground, smart, stretching out on the hardwood floor, smart, in an attempt to keep a bit cooler. He immediately took a big bite of his sandwich, chewed, and then hummed happily. The sandwich is really good. At least that's something. At this point, you sat down and started on your own sandwich. You nodded. You were enjoying yours, too. Obviously, you were a pro at making sandwiches. He leaned back on his hands while chewing and glanced around. His every movement was sluggish. Wanna do something? It seemed like the plan of not doing anything at all had already worn thin despite his lack of enthusiasm. Yeah, like what? Maybe, not really. You couldn't even muster a reply. If they're saying it's this hot and everybody's brains are fried, then I'm gonna go, not really. We have to pass the time somehow, though. He rolled his head back, looking up at the ceiling. What about tic-tac-toe? You laugh at the suggestion, but go along with it. Yeah! Neither of you had much energy for something more taxing. You grudgingly humored it. You thought it was a nice idea. Sure, why not? Sure, why not? You put your plate to the side and pulled out some markers and scrap paper. As you laid everything on the floor, he scooted back to make more room in front of you. Cove picked up one of the markers with his right hand while keeping half a slice of sandwich on his left. In his left hand. I want to be X's so you can go first. I think that's fair. Good, because I wanted to go first. You prepared to note down your first move, your marker hovering over the paper. After the first round, you were about to take another bite of sandwich when a thought occurred to you. I wonder if anyone turned off the TV downstairs. The TV, it was on earlier, but no one was really watching. Then everyone started leaving the living room. I know I didn't turn it off. It might still be on downstairs with no one there. Cove smiled crookedly at that. Poor show, playing with no one around to enjoy it. What was it? You squinted off into middle distance, trying to recall the show's name. I feel like it was some kind of crime-solving drama. Cove nodded sleepily. His eyes closed, then opened again with some effort. Can you give any specifics? Maybe I can guess it. Well... You rested your chin on your open palm, groggily thinking as hard as you could. I remember there was a woman with long blonde hair, I think? She was the one solving the crimes, like as a detective or something. There were scenes in a police station because someone got arrested. You lapsed into silence, the both of you thoughtful, then Cove chuckled. It wasn't that funny, but you joined in with the laughter anyway.
I don't know.
I don't know what that is. Me neither, and I just saw it. Another round came and went, and Cove grumbled as he readjusted himself. His features were twisted in a grimace. I feel so sticky. I'm gonna be stuck to this floor forever now. I'll have to charge you rent then. You can be my new roomie if you want. Looks like we'll be stuck here forever then. I'm sticky too. No way, I'll peel you off if I had to. You just smile. I'll have to charge you rent then. Yeah? How much? $50. I can't afford that. You gotta pay up if you want to stick around. Cove shook his head at your terrible pun and went back to the game instead of answering further. Then you returned to the game. Cove spoke up once more, catching your attention. He was peering down at the piece of paper between you, his expression thoughtful. You know, tic-tac-toe is such a weird name for a game. What does it even mean? Maybe they named it that because people played it with ticks and tacks? I've always wondered about that. I'll have to look it up later. It's a really old game. No one's sure where the name came from. I'll have to look it up later. Maybe I'll do that too. That said, the two of you turned your attention back to the game. Oop, you won. That was so easy. You didn't try at all, did you? Not really. He smiled at you in an amused way. You somehow weren't surprised by that, despite Cove being the one who suggested the game in the first place. He started to yawn, his hand coming up to cover his mouth. It quickly transitioned into a small laugh. You understood why. Yawning just as he said he was feeling disinterested was kind of a funny coincidence. I'm gonna laugh with him, because while you should have taken the challenge more seriously, heat rage is not the way to go. You're the one who wanted to play in the first place. Sounds whiny. I'm still the winner, and you're the loser, is rude, and shaking my head at him is not the way I want to go, so I'm laughing with him. Cove just grinned and flopped onto his back, leaving his marker on the floor beside him. You stayed seated, looking your friend over as he stretched himself out. You really are so tall now. Cove snickered a bit at the random topic. He propped himself up on his elbows to meet your gaze. Why are you bringing that up? You shrugged. It made perfect sense to you to bring it up. My moms were talking about me and Elizabeth growing up, getting bigger and stuff. What kind of stuff? Well, Mom only likes women and Ma likes women too, but not just women. Yeah? Since the two of you were engaged in conversation, Cove got back up to a seating position. He brought a knee up and rested his arm atop it. A wistful expression overtook his face. I wonder when I'll know how I feel about that kind of thing. You don't know? Cove shook his head. I've heard at some point you're supposed to, start liking types of people, guys or girls or whoever. But I haven't. Nothing's changed. Maybe I have to grow up more? Maybe you just don't like anybody. Or maybe you like all types of people. That's normal, too. Cove seemed to appreciate that thought, if the smile that appeared on his lips was any indication. Okay, what about you? Who do you like? Turned his attention to you, looking encouraging. You were starting to have physical attraction in a general way. You only seemed to feel physical attraction in specific cases and situations. You didn't really have a physical interest in other people. You didn't think you could tell if you had an interest in people physically. You didn't really have a physical interest in other people. And you seem to only feel romantic attraction in specific cases and situations. That's nice that they separated it. That's fun. But specifically, when it came to how you felt towards boys, you found them to be attractive, you thought you'd be happy with a guy someday, you found them attractive, but you hadn't thought about being with a guy, you weren't physically interested, but you'd be happy to have a romantic relationship with a guy. You weren't interested in guys. You generally weren't interested in guys, but there were special exceptions. We'll do romantic relationships with a guy, because all of the people are dudes here. You weren't physically interested, but you'd be happy to have a romantic relationship with a guy. And how you felt towards girls, you generally weren't interested in girls, but there were special exceptions. For people who aren't exclusively male or female. Might as well just keep going with random ones. You found them attractive, but you hadn't thought about being with someone non-binary. You returned your attention to Cove. He was waiting patiently for your response. Man, he's my friend. We can have these sorts of conversations. He seems insecure. I have very definite thoughts, so let's do it. You explain your feelings to Cove. He nodded understandingly at your attempt to describe how you felt. It was nice to have people who supported you when it came to who you liked. And you knew he accepted you for who you were too, but you still wondered what he thought about who you were. I'm gonna say wonder, because we don't know everybody's minds. Hey, what do you think about how I am? I'm not the gender people thought I was when I was first born. Oh. You held your breath as Cove processed what you asked.
Nice.
I think everyone is different, and when it comes to how they are, and they're different in different ways. It's nice. It was a very simple statement, but you felt good hearing it all the same.
Are you okay?
What are you thinking about? I mean, are you okay? He leaned a bit closer and peered into your face. It seemed like your question might have made Cove start to worry about you. I don't think I feel that different from how other people feel. I am. I feel good. I'm not sure. I feel kind of bad, like something doesn't fit right. Or no answer at all. I am. I feel good. Cove smiled softly. When you felt good, he did too, and that lifted your spirits even higher. Hug. Hug. Friends. Physical affection, your homies. Platonically. When you wrapped your arms around his neck, he reciprocated easily by hugging you tightly around the back. Soon the heat made it unbearable to continue, but it comforted you all the same. Then he scratched the back of his head, sheepish. I'm not sure how we ended up talking about all that when we just started out playing tic-tac-toe. But it was good, I think. The conversation had a mind of its own. Cove chuckled a little bashfully. He glanced around, clearly scrambling for something else to say. So have you heard from Lee recently? Oh yeah, I can't believe I almost forgot to tell you. The conversation took a lighter turn after that, and it felt like you got closer that afternoon. Finally, the blazing sun began to set. To your relief, the air cooled down a bit as a result. You pulled yourself off the floor, as did Cove with some minor complaint. You both stretched your arms, groaning, and yawned into your hands. You glanced out your window briefly, taking in the soft reds and pinks and purples of the late afternoon sky. Somehow you had made it through the scorching hot day in one piece. Cove turned towards you, motioning towards your window with his chin. Want to go outside? It might be better out there than it is in here now. Let's do it! I'm sick and tired of being cooped up inside all day. The two of you took your time heading downstairs. You stopped briefly to grab a drink of water, and then continued on your way. Drink of water, hydrate or dihydrate. You stepped outside, one after the other, your destination being the familiar hills behind your house. This time of day, it was quiet outside. The flowers blew gently in the wind, petals trembling but stubbornly hanging in there. You felt the breeze cool your heated skin and you relaxed your shoulders. Cove closed his eyes, releasing a deep breath. I really love it out here. Your opinion sure has changed since you were first on this hill. Cove chuckled, not even attempting to deny your words. A beat passed, but his gaze didn't stray from your own. His voice was impossibly soft when he spoke up again. I'm glad I met you, Lane. You're really important to me, you know? You can blush at the statement, you can say I feel the same, that's so nice of you to say, smile silently, you're being too sweet. You're special to me, Cove. I think I'm gonna say you're special to me, Cove, 'cause he is. Your voice came out equally delicate, from the way his features brightened, though. You knew he heard you. Cove rested his arm on one of your shoulders, leaning against you. Even as the sun disappeared completely and the sky darkened, you and Cove remained side by side for as long as you possibly could. Excellent. Excellent, excellent. We're gonna go ahead and do summer work. And depending on how long this one is, it may be the last one, but no, it is going to be the last one for today. Mainly because the Derek ones are extremely long and taxing on me right now. So, to summer work we go. You stared out the window, watching the scenery pass by as your mom drove down the quiet streets at a leisurely pace. A singer crooned sweetly from the radio, turned low enough that you could block it out if you wanted. You turned away from the window when your mom suddenly spoke up. Well, kids, are you excited to be going to the library? Yes. We're a library, kid, 100%. Mom laughed, catching her eye in the rearview mirror and blinking. 'Cause I didn't read that one out. Yeah, I can't wait to get there, is what I said. I don't know why I asked. I already know how you feel about it. Taking a trip down to the library had always been something you enjoyed.
So,
What about you, Cove? You're part of the conversation too. I can work better there than at home. It's good we're going, I think.
sounds good.
Well, I'm happy this will be of use to you. Just make sure you're not distracted by one another. That would defeat the purpose of the trip. She grinned over at you briefly so you knew she was kidding and meant nothing by it. Mom refocused on driving, humming along with the radio under her breath. You went back to staring outside. As you passed one street, you caught a glimpse of someone in brightly colored clothing passing out balloon animals. It sparked a faraway memory and you felt your lips twitching up before you consciously remembering why. How long ago was it that you and Cove watched the amazing Alexander performing magic tricks? Cove, look at that guy out the window. Cove turned his head just a second too late. Who? Doesn't matter. You remember the amazing Alexander? Who? He gave us the dolphin balloons. Yours popped? You cried? It was a big day? Oh right, that was a while ago. It was so fun! Cove smiled faintly. It was the first time we ever went down that street together, I think. I miss my balloon. It was a good dolphin for that one afternoon I had him. Yeah. Hey Cove, what were you going to name your balloon? You never told me. Oh. Huh. I don't know. I can't remember what Kid Me was thinking. Probably something obvious like Flipper. You couldn't help the way your own smile curled up higher at the statement. You wanted to say something else, but couldn't quite think of what, so you just settled back into your seat. When silence filled the car again, you returned your attention to the window. It was an absolutely gorgeous day. You leaned your face to the sunshine, tempted to close your eyes as the gentle rays warmed your cheeks. Lane? Huh? You lifted yourself up a bit more, seeing your mom twisting her torso to face you, confused, from the front seat of the car. Next to you was nothing. Cove's car door was already open. You had reached the destination before you had realized it. I'm asking, what time should I pick you two up? Oh, 4 should be okay. That should give you enough time to finish your summer assignments, or at least make a large enough dent. Thanks, Mom. You hopped out of the car, remembering to grab your backpack at the last second.
Alright.
Alright then, have fun, you two. We will. You closed the door, giving a little wave. She waved back. The two of you went right to the door of the library. Cove reached it first and tugged it open, stepping inside. He kept it propped open so you could pass through behind him. The air was much colder inside the building than it had been for the few seconds you spent outdoors. The space was filled with the soft din of papers being moved around and whispered voices. Hey, you seemed kinda distracted on the ride here. Just enjoying the day. 'Cause I was. Cove looked dubious at the vague answer. Okay, what? Don't you think it's nice out? Sure. Your study buddy was standing at the front of the library by a long rack of magazines. Predictably, he was flipping through the one with various sports players on the cover, looking intense enough to burst off the page. His head snapped up when you walked over, beaming widely. Hey Lane, Cove! Hi, were you waiting for a while? Not super long. Derek put the magazine back in its place, and then he gestured to the space at his side. Most of the tables were empty, only a few people leafing through the books. There's plenty of room. In unspoken agreement, the three of you started moving towards the seating area, Derek taking 2 steps for every one of Cove's. Oh, guess what? I'm pretty sure I've mastered the fake shot. I'll show it you some other time. Derek looked over to gauge the level of interest. Do you know it? Soccer's not really for me. How does it go? Derek's eyes flashed with excitement as he explained. Well, you move the ball like you're gonna go one way, and then he demonstrated by running a few steps ahead, showing off some fancy footwork. You do it like this, so it does like that. You laughed, bobbing your head at his attempt to get the trick across with no ball. Shh! The three of you looked over to the checkout desk. The librarian stood behind it and was wearing a deep frown. Apologetic. You mouthed sorry, and she sighed before turning back to the books she was reading. Derek scratched his cheek, choosing not to let that derail things.
Oops.
So, what are you guys working on? What weren't you working on? There were some things you had gotten to start with. You had yet to start a single assignment, sadly. You had yet to start a single assignment because you didn't feel like it. There were some things you had gotten to start with because Lane is responsible. But it was still early in the summer, so there was a lot left. I think I'll work on my history assignment. I've got some math problems that need work. I don't care. I don't know. I think I'll work on my history assignment. We have to do this timeline thing. It made sense to work on that while you were here, since you'd probably need to consult the reference books, which is why I picked it. But there's some summer reading, too. I have to go through an assigned book, but I'm gonna do that later since it doesn't need extra references or anything. What about you two? I've got a few worksheets. They looked pretty easy, but my school gave us 3 books to read. Can't they stick with just one? I'm also doing the timeline. You all found a table close to the tall bookshelves and set up camp. Within seconds, pencils and folders and books were strewn out on the surface. focus on your work, because that's what we came here for. You were pretty confident you could get it done before your mom was set to return. You checked the requirements on the homework sheet your teacher had given you, then opened up your textbook to the pages you needed. After some time, Cope shifted in his seat, twisting his back as if trying to work knots out of it. Let me guess, your soul is crying out for the sea. The corners of Cope's mouth twitched into a smile. I'll have to settle for walking around the library for a few minutes. Okay, I'm gonna stay here. I'm making good progress. I'm gonna stay too. I'll come finish my assignment. You didn't want to break your concentration and have to get back into it. How's your assignment coming along? Derek flashed you a grin. It's whizzing by, no problems. How about yours? It's going really great. Because I'm focusing and doing a good job. Nice. But weird to think we'll be back at school soon, huh? Yeah, new school year. Are you looking forward to it? I wouldn't say I was looking forward to it, but this year's gonna be the year. The year of what?
Right.
The year I'm on the team. He pumped his fist in the air and momentarily became too loud for a library again. The team? Which one? Football? Or soccer? Why not both? That'd be pretty sweet, but I'd need to give it my all. Whatever it is. But I need to give it my all, whatever it is. Can't split my focus forever. Thing is, I haven't figured out how I'm gonna pick. I have more time to practice and get real good if I stuck with just one. I don't know. Do what makes you happy. 2 sports means double the number of teams you can try for. You simply listen to him. Pick the one you do best in already. Vote for soccer, vote for football. I'm just gonna listen to him. I'll figure it out. I know I will. Thanks for letting me go on about that. But hey, how about you? What's the new school year got in store for you? I want to learn a new skill. Really? I'll help you practice with it, if I can. You continued swapping visions of the year ahead until Cove returned. For the start, you realized a solid 15 minutes had slipped by, and it only felt like a few moments. With fresh minds, you all turned back to your work. The sound of shuffling dragged you out of your head. You looked up to see Derek, surprised to see Derek packing up. You're done? Derek casually shrugged, but you could tell he felt proud to be the first finished. Uh-huh. I told you it wasn't anything hard. What you gonna do now? You wondered how Derek was going to spend his newfound freedom. I could look over what you're doing. Maybe I've got some tips that'll help. You know what? That'd be great. Thanks. A second set of eyes to proofread and make sure I got my dates right. I gotcha. With a smile, Derek leaned over your part of the table. It took some time to get the gist and point you in the right direction before turning it over to you. Derek leaned on the back of his feet. Okay. I'm gonna look around while you guys finish. See ya. Bye. See you. Later on, Cope shifted in his seat, closing his book as he looked over the notes he'd been taking. Glancing away, you contemplated what you had done thus far, too. Sitting here, looking at it, there was math problems, there was the history assignment, and then there was a book that we said we were going to read later. I'm going to say we finished. Just as you thought, it hadn't been that difficult. You wrapped it up already. Derek's advice made it easier in the end. You about ready? It's almost 4. Yeah, I think so. Come on. The two of you gathered up your books, and after returning the ones you used for reference to their proper shelves, set off to find wherever Derek had wandered off to. He was in the biographies section. His back was to the two of you, one hand above his head, the other supporting himself against the shelf as he strained to grab another one of the books. Hey Derek, we're ready.
Okay.
Oh, okay. He glanced towards the sound of your voice, then up towards the shelf he was trying to reach. I can get that for you. Yeah, thanks, Lane. Derek directed you towards the book you wanted. It was an autobiography of someone you'd never heard of before. And the three of you moved to the front of the library to wait for your rides. You stood close to the window and let out a content sigh, feeling the rays warm you from the slightly chilly library interior. Wish our assignments were more exciting. Got any plans after this? Staring into space. Got any plans after this? Gonna work on my technique. Can't get rusty while school's out. That answer was inevitable. Technique for what? Soccer. How about you two? You considered the question, mostly in case your moms had something penciled in for the evening that you'd forgotten. Nothing planned. Me neither. Oh, that's my dad's car. Derek lifted a hand to wave, pushing the door open and heading towards the blue pickup truck waiting in the parking lot.
Talk to you later.
See you, Lane. Bye, Cove. See you later. You watched Derek jog off before scanning the area for your mom. Did you get everything done? Almost. I saw you're done. He smiled, impressed. He felt pretty good about that. I feel like I'll need to come back to the library again before the summer's over. Even if your assigned work was done, you might have to double check some things or do preparation for the start of the year. I'll come with you. I still have those books to read anyway. You better. I'm not going alone. He chuckled. Let's do something when we get back. Maybe the beach? Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. He was always easy to please that way. The two of you smiled at each other. It wasn't long before you spied your mom's car coming down the road. There she is.
All right.
Time to go then. You climbed into the car, sliding into your usual seats and buckling the belts. Hey kiddos, did you get a lot done? I'm done.
Nice.
Amazing. The car shifted into action and you watched as the library shrunk into the distance. It wouldn't be the last time you saw it this summer. Even better, you were going to have good company with you. You were already counting down the days. You chatted easily with Mom about the day while you juggled a conversation with Cove. When she learned you two were planning on returning, she immediately offered to give you a ride next time. You continued to answer Mom's question about what you'd been working on, then told her your plans to stick with Cove after getting back. But soon enough the trip was over, you had arrived back to your neighborhood. Cove had to run over to his house real quick to drop off his stuff. You also made a pit stop to put your backpack away before heading out again. The two of you regrouped in the middle of the road, halfway between your houses. With everything wrapped up, you could now freely enjoy the rest of the afternoon. Whew! Your conversation resumed as you both began walking down the street together. The afternoon came and went, dinner was eaten, and you were cleaning up the dishes left behind from it. Cove had elected to stay for the meal today. He passed you a couple of plates to rinse in the sink. Even though he didn't have to, Cove asked to do at least something to help. You scrubbed the last of them and let out a satisfied sigh. Okay, they're done. I'm going upstairs now. You addressed your guest for the evening. You want to come?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have to go back until later. Take it easy, kids. Thank you for the help. When you got back to your room, you noticed your backpack from earlier. You figured it would be best to unpack the stuff you needed before going to bed. Cove plopped onto your desk chair and spun around a bit as he got comfortable. He watched you contentedly as you walked across the room. He didn't need or expect you to try entertaining him constantly. It was just nice to be near each other, even when nothing was going on. You hefted your bag up to the bed. It sunk into the comforter. With that, you started to sort through books and paper packets. Not all of it were things you'd need anytime soon. A small pile of the most important assets began to grow at the side of your backpack until you'd gone over it all. You had actually finished flipping through the contents, but that wasn't all of your work. You instinctively pulled the opening closer to you and peered inside. A second look through commenced, then a third, then you began to open smaller pockets. You were missing your history assignment. Lane? By this point, Cove could tell something was wrong. You had spent the better part of today completely finishing it, and now it was gone. It hadn't been that noteworthy before, but the bag wasn't really zipped when you had first begun to look through. The work could have fallen out somewhere if you had had it in the first place. You were upset by the revelation, but made yourself stay calm. You started to panic. All you could do was shrug. Your stress level shot up. It was best to think positively. You felt paralyzed. Honestly, a completely finished assignment at the beginning of summer that you don't necessarily want to work on again, I do think that it's panicky. The assignment could be anywhere. You were never going to get it back. It's gone, and now you were going to have to replace everything you did for it. My history work isn't in my backpack. At your word, Cove jumped out of his seat. Oh crap! Is there somewhere we can look? The bag was kind of open, so... He winced sympathetically. That left a lot of options for where it might be, most of them bad. You made a sudden bolt for the other side of your room. You started to scour the spot the backpack was originally left in. With nothing in sight there, you expanded the search to the rest of the space. Cove did his best to stay out of your way while keeping an eye open for your missing work. It was a frantic and ultimately fruitless effort. Your assignment wasn't here. Let's check downstairs. It might still be in your house someplace. Fine.
How are you?
Why, hello again. Is everything all right? You gave a rambly explanation of the situation. You answered her with a raised voice. You told your mom what was going on. I'm rambly when I panic, so Lane is getting that trait. No, I had it. I did it. But when I was getting it out, it wasn't there, and I don't know. What? My schoolwork is missing. This was definitely getting to you. You have things you want to do that you need to do, and instead you have to worry about this.
So sorry.
Sweetie, I'm so sorry. What's missing? An assignment for school from the library today. Mom's eyebrows raised with concern at the answer. That's a pickle. I'll call right now. I think they might still be open. We say thank you. We know to say thank you.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. Just leave it to me. Cove, honey, can you tell us if there was anything you noticed? You were with Lane, right? I saw the assignment when Lane had it out at the library. I don't remember them putting it away, but I'm pretty positive there was nothing left on the table when we were done. He spoke resolutely. Before now, he hadn't considered that something might have been left behind. You had felt the same when leaving, though it was hard not to second-guess things now. Your mom re-entered the scene a few minutes later. The look on her face was not promising. So I got a hold of one of the librarians. They don't have any papers with your name on them. Not that they could see anyway. I'm sorry. Thanks for trying. Of course. Sorry it was a bust. It's not your fault. Lane, hey, let's go over to my house. I can check my bag. Maybe I took it when we were packing and didn't notice. I feel like Lane is starting to get disparaging. Alright. You got the impression that this wasn't just another place to look. You were stressed out over the situation here. He was trying to give you an out. Let's go. Cove nodded and made his way to the door. Your mom stood by with creased brows. Take care, kids. Good luck. Bye, Moms. You briskly made the trip across the street, and in less than a minute you were going through the threshold of Cove's house. Cove had been in a rush earlier today, too. His backpack was tossed on the couch without a thought. No one had moved it since then. You can sit down or anything. I'm gonna look. He lifted up the backpack and unzipped it in a fluid motion. You were left to wait as he rooted around inside with an unexpected level of seriousness. Yeah. Struggling to relax, you leaned closer, trying to get a peek into what he was seeing. Every second of not knowing made you more tense. Your impatience didn't go unnoticed. He tore through the contents rapidly until Cove's eyes drifted from the opening of the bag and traced the length of the room's floor. His arm was still tucked away inside, but the search was over. Your heart sank. It was obvious there wasn't much of a chance Cove had somehow had it this whole time. Still, you'd wanted to hope. Finally, Cove lowered his backpack to the floor while slipping his arm out, and he wasn't empty-handed. Cove extended a few papers your way. Here. Your eyes flicked down at the assignment and then went right back up to his face. That's your copy. In the almost silent room, you could hear the slight crinkling of paper as his fingers gripped tighter. His expression was just as firm. No, it's yours. Thank you. Cove, I can't take that from you. I appreciate you want to help, but that's not okay. That's cheating. Are you sure? Stare at him. I appreciate that you want to help, but that's not okay. Why not? You did the work. It isn't fair that you might not get credit for it. That assignment and grades, they're important to you, and you know you're important to me, so... He flatly dropped the papers at your feet, refusing to meet your eyes. I think I did pretty good with it. The marks shouldn't be bad. You thanked him for what he was trying to do, you hugged him, you insisted he shouldn't go through with it. I'm gonna hug him 'cause words are difficult right now. Without another thought, you threw your arms over his shoulders. The papers scattered. After a second of stunned motionlessness, Cove returned the gesture and wrapped himself around you. Cove's consideration made you feel good. You felt terrible about this all. You were teary-eyed over the gesture. I'm gonna say teary-eyed because I think Lane might be a little bit of a crier. It was too much, and the tear droplets began to sting your eyes. Please don't cry, Lane. He didn't let you go as he began to speak again. Missing an assignment is something that doesn't bother me. I mean, you've known me long enough to see what does upset me. The statement had started out lighthearted, but quickly shifted to one much more serious. You were always there. He leaned his head into you affectionately. Then the moment was interrupted by the piercing ring of the Holden home phone. You wordlessly stared at one another with raised brows. Cove's mouth formed a tiny frown. Kyra appeared from the hall on the far side of the living room, summoned by the noise. Cove robotically took his arms off you, pinning them securely against his sides instead. You don't know if she noticed or cared, but he was embarrassed. Hey, Cove. Hi, Lane. I didn't know you were here. She strolled on past. Your eyes followed her. Cove's mom answered the call, giving a chipper greeting to whoever was on the other end. A few uh-huhs and mm-hms. Later, Kyra thanked the person and placed the phone down once more. Lane, that was your ma. She said your stuff was in the car.
What?
Really? That's what I was told. Now just return to the guest room. You can have your privacy. Cove's face cycled from shock to sour. We went downstairs, but we didn't check the car. I could tell you that it was probably gonna be in the car. It's always in the car. Cove's face cycled from shock to sour as his mom made her escape, laughing. He shook off the interruption and refocused on you. They've got it. You were so relieved, you were so embarrassed, you couldn't believe it, you didn't know how to react. I've made Lane stressed out about this, mostly about losing thing. So Lane is going to be relieved. It was back, you had your work, and that's what mattered. They've got it. Cove smiled crookedly and shrugged one shoulder. We should probably head to your house. Your moms might want to talk to you. Yeah, my parents really care about me. They had kept searching even after you left, and because of that, it all worked out. Cove nodded in agreement. Hey, Cove, thanks for being here. He brightened up with sparkling eyes.
Don't worry about it.
Anytime, Lane. While stepping towards the door together, there was a thought in your head that you knew to be true. You were going to be there for one another when it came to big things and with the small things. We're gonna go ahead and save. A bit of a shorter one today, folks, but I think that's just as good as anything else in the world. I hope you had fun. I hope you enjoyed your time with me, and I hope that you enjoyed the game. Until the next time our signals cross, I hope you have a wonderful time doing whatever it is you want to do or need to do for yourself, and that you're happy and healthy. burn bright and shine bright like a star.